Good evening. You're watching the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. First, the headlines. The death toll from the Israeli aggression on the Gaza Strip continues to rise as the humanitarian situation deteriorates and hospitals remain unable to receive patients and the wounded. And the European Union discusses its response to tariffs imposed by the United States following the deployment of European troops to Greenland. Welcome to our news centre. Those were the headlines, and now for the news in detail. Starting off from Gaza, as the death toll from the Israeli aggression in the Strip has risen to more than 71,550 martyrs and 171,000 wounded. More than 22,000 patients and wounded individuals in the Gaza Strip are waiting to travel abroad for treatment as Gaza's hospitals are unable to provide them with the necessary medical services. The Rafah crossing crisis continues, with the occupation authorities delaying its opening despite the agreement stipulating that the crossing should be opened from the first day of the ceasefire. Representatives of EU member states are scheduled to meet in a special session following US President Donald Trump's threat to impose tariffs over Greenland. Cyprus, which holds the rotating EU presidency, said that ambassadors from member states had been summoned for an extraordinary meeting this evening to respond to the US president's threats. Trump had earlier stated that the United States would impose additional tariffs of 10% on imports from 8 European countries starting next month because of their stance on Greenland. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said 2 people were killed and dozens injured in a Russian drone attack. Zelensky explained that Sumy, Kharkiv, Dnipro, Zaporizhia, Khmelnytskyi and Odessa were targeted in the attack, in which Moscow launched more than 200 drones. This Russian attack comes as the US and Ukrainian officials meet in Miami to discuss security guarantees and an economic recovery package for post-war Ukraine. Meanwhile, Governor of the Zaporizhia region of Moscow said that more than 200,000 consumers in the Russian-controlled part of the region remain without electricity after a drone strike by Kyiv. At least 6 people were killed and 20 others injured in a fire at a shopping mall in Karachi of Pakistan. Pakistani authorities said a massive fire broke out late last night at a shopping mall in Karachi, killing 6 people, injuring dozens and reducing parts of the mall into rubble in the middle of a busy commercial area. Meanwhile, in Austria, 8 people were killed and others injured in a series of avalanches across several regions. Austrian rescue teams reported that one of the avalanches occurred on a 2,150-meter high mountain peak near Salzburg. A woman died in another avalanche in the Bad Hofgastein area, followed later by a third avalanche in Styria. Austrian police confirmed that all of the victims were skiing at the time of the avalanches. NASA had announced the start of the transfer of its new giant rocket to the launch pad at the Kennedy Space Center in preparation for a historic mission scheduled for early February. This mission aims to send 4 astronauts on a journey around the moon and back to Earth, the first crewed mission of its kind in more than 50 years. The 98-meter-long rocket began its slow journey from the vehicle assembly building at a speed of approximately approximately 1 mile per hour, and its transfer to the launch pad is expected to take about 24 hours. The SLS rocket is considered the most powerful in NASA's history, generating 15% more thrust at launch than the Saturn V rocket used in the 1960s. This flight represents the second test of the Space Launch System SLS rocket and the first to carry a human crew inside a capsule. Still to come in our news bulletin. Sri Lanka unveils a rare purple star sapphire claims to be the world's biggest of its kind. Welcome back to the news centre from the Sultanate of Oman Television. The international tourism revenues in the Gulf Cooperation Council countries, the GCC, exceeded $120 billion in 2024. The GCC Statistical Centre reported that 2024 saw an 8.9 increase in tourism indicators across the GCC. The total number of international tourists reached 72.2 million in 2024, while the GCC's direct GDP from the travel and tourism sector reached $93.5 billion in the same year, exceeding the target set for 2030 by 64.1%. The total number of hotel establishments in the GCC reached 11,000, and the number of employees in the tourism sector rose to reach 1.7 million in 2024. The agreement on biological diversity on the high seas entered into force, providing countries with a legally binding framework to address the threats of overfishing and achieve the goal of protecting 30% of the ocean environment by 2030. Under this agreement, countries are required to conduct environmental assessments of activities that could impact the ocean environment. Mechanisms will also be established to allow countries to share the benefits of the blue economy, including marine genetic resources used in industries such as biotechnology. Environmental experts say that more than 190,000 protected areas need to be established to bring 30% of the ocean under official protection by 2030, compared to about 8% currently formed. A purple star sapphire estimated to be worth at least 300 million was unveiled on Saturday in the Sri Lankan capital Colombo by the owners. More details to follow in this report.
A purple star sapphire weighing 3,563 carats, which is claimed to be the world's biggest of its kind, was unveiled on Saturday in the Sri Lankan capital by the owners, who are ready to sell the precious stone, which is estimated to be worth at least $300 million. The round-shaped gem, named Star of Pure Land, is the world's largest documented natural purple star sapphire.
This gemstone belongs to the corundum family. Corundum families. One of the varieties is the star sapphires. Star sapphire is a sapphire with the optical phenomena of star asterism. We call it asterism in geometrical terms. Now, specialty about this gemstone is purple color, and it's to date the recorded largest purple star sapphire.
The gem, which has been polished, is owned by the Star of Pure Land team, who want to remain anonymous for security reasons. One of the owners said the gem was found in a gem pit near the remote Sri Lankan town of Ratnapura, known as the City of Gems, in 2023. The gem was purchased together with the other gems in 2023, and about 2 years later, the owners found that it was a special stone. They then got it certified by 2 laboratories. The Star of Pure Land is more than a gemstone. It is a legacy object, reminding us that the rarest exhibitions of the natural world are not defined by position, but by how carefully they are entrusted to humanity's collective future.
This is the Sultanate of Oman television. Before we end tonight's news bulletin, here are the main points once again. The death toll from the Israeli aggression on the Gaza Strip continues to rise as the humanitarian situation deteriorates and hospitals remain unable to receive patients and the wounded. And the European Union discusses its response to tariffs imposed by the United States following the deployment of European troops to Greenland. With that, we do come to the end of tonight's news bulletin. From all of us here at the newsroom and the studios, it is good night and enjoy your week ahead.